Okay, and I am going to welcome everyone to the Prospero School of Ontology to our Sunday meeting today, January 13th, 2019. My name is Heather Williams, and I am really excited about a lot of things, but about letting the life that's in me coming out in new ways. So that is, to me, these talks, I don't know that I've ever considered myself a public speaker. And I can remember back in the day in the Prosperos when it was in Santa Monica, we had Sunday meetings every Sunday. And there were different speakers. I was never a speaker. I did one time get up and introduce, and I was so scared that it was like huge, big deal. And I just thought, how will I ever be able to get up there and give a talk? So I'd have to say that this is, of course, I think life is practice. But for the Sunday meetings, I've been doing them for a year, every month, the second Sunday of every month. And I am absolutely excited about what I am experiencing. And my hope is that what you will take away from these meetings will be something that feels like a part of you comes on fire. Something opens up in you. That's my kind of resolution. And of course, we have New Year's. So New Year's is about making resolutions. And a lot of people make a New Year's resolution to change themselves. But I have a suggestion that we make a resolution in 2019 to be ourselves. Yes, be ourselves. To be ourselves, what the heck does that mean? That means to get to know ourselves. It means that, like a creative person always is asking, well, how do I want to express this in music? How do I want to express this on paper? How would I express this feeling or this thought in a poem? How would I feel about that? So that personal sense of who am I is what the artist in us is all about. So every month I will draw out a little bit of creativity from you. I will use different metaphors. I will use different stories. We will do a drawing exercise every time. So make sure that you have a pen or pencil and a piece of paper. It's just going to be a drawing exercise for you to get in touch with yourself. So it doesn't have to be a fancy sketchbook or any kind of fancy thing, but a pencil, pen, piece of paper, you'll need that. I think we're also going to have a poem today. So let's see if I can move this to the next phrase. Where am I? There we go. Okay. So yes, I'm talking about igniting the fire within us, within you. And I know that we all have, deep at the core of our being, we have a kind of a fire. And this little painting, I just kind of want you to look at here for a bit. This painting, I did that in 1994. And what was I thinking about when I did this painting? Well, I had just moved from Malibu, California, LA area, where I had lived for 20 years, 1970 to 1990. And these were very big years. I studied with the Prosperos all those years, worked on the tools that the Prosperos offers. I worked in my own life, is what the Prospero School of Ontology is about, where you use tools to reveal the different layers of yourself to get down to the core of your being. See, ontology means the science of being or the study of being. And all of us are being. We wouldn't be here. You're being, but we don't think about our beingness. We are involved in all the other stuff of life. So look at this little painting and the circle that has kind of a, I don't know, it's got a feeling of life, like there's a little fire inside that circle. To me, that is part of each of us. At our core, there is a fire. It's a creative fire. It's a loving fire. It is a truthful beingness at our core. Every single person, every single part of life. Okay. Now, for the human being, or for me, let's just say I'm working on myself. You see this sort of little bottle shape of a kind around it. I don't know, that might represent the body, the forms, our forms, the form of us. And then to express this little core of beingness, are you following me? This little life in us, the beingness, it wants to express. It probably wants to grow out of this bottle. It doesn't want to stay in the bottle. It wants to rise up a little bit. But there's little stuff in there that's, are they pieces of cotton or what are these? Anyway, they're puff balls of some kind that represent some of the stuff that gets in our way. Some of the, you might think of it as beliefs that we have. Big belief. I worked with Louise Hay for 10 years, and if you know Louise Hay, you know that her main message is love yourself, and much of your problems will be starting to dissolve or kind of go away. Loving yourself is the key, and I do believe that that is very true. But the biggest belief we have about ourselves, I think, is that I am not good enough. I do believe that is probably the biggest bunch of stuff. The biggest belief that's a fabrication. It is not the truth, but it is something that we believe. And we develop patterns out of that belief that stop us from fully living our life. So I love what a little phrase that I found. Apparently the Buddha said these words, quote, "When thou hast understood the dissolution of all the fabrications," maybe I should repeat that. When thou hast understood the dissolution, the dissolving of all the fabrications, then thou shalt understand that which is not fabricated. So the core of us is not fabricated. It just is. It is our being. But we have all these beliefs that kind of stand in the way. And as we dissolve them, and to me that is the work that I learned in the Prosperos, to dissolve the fabrication. And the purpose of the Sunday meetings, mine, the purpose is to introduce the ontological teachings and tools that I learned that helped me to work with and let go of some of my old conditioning and fabrications, and helped me to create emotional stability and mental flexibility. And my aim for the rest of my life is to offer this teaching to you and everyone who is interested and willing to do the work, so that you too can live creatively and sanely in this world. That brings me to a book called Future Shock that was written in the 70s by Alvin and Heidi Toffler. Come on in. It was written by Alvin and Heidi Toffler, and these authors define the term future shock as it was a kind of psychological state that individuals and even the entire society feel. The shortest definition is It's a personal perception of too much change in too little time. Too much change, too little time. Does that feel to you kind of like what we're living in today? So much change. I don't know. I think it sounds right. We're still in this kind of future shock world. We have so much information through computers and technology. Now, Thane, the founder of the Prospero School of Ontology, he wrote a paper in the 70s. He was very much interested in this future shock book and idea. And Thane said, if you want to live in a new world, you must become a new person. And he describes in this little 10-page PDF document that is called Future Shock, this is by Thane, which I'm going to make available to you. Just send me an email and I'll send you this 10-page PDF document Thane wrote. He describes in this clearly how adaptability and creativity are the qualities we each need to cultivate and to exercise in order to deal sanely with all the changes today. It is only the adaptable person, the person that can synthesize the past. What does that mean? Synthesize, you are going to be taking this little feature and that little feature and that little feature, and then you're going to let go of that one and the other one. You're going to bring together certain things from the past that are really valuable. That's kind of being able to adapt to all these things. And then you're going to be able to create a new lifestyle that will serve you. To me, this is the challenge for all of us today. And this is why I focus on creativity in my monthly talks. So honor the creative seed that is in you, just like that circle of fire is within you. It's within all of us. Here's what a Canadian-American writer named Saul Bellow, he won the Nobel Prize for Literature, and he said this, quote, "Only art penetrates the seeming realities of this world. There is another reality, the genuine one, which we lose sight of. This other reality is always sending us hints which, without art, we can't receive." Now, art is big. It is the ability, it is designing something new. It is a dance. It is singing a song. It is going to the theater and watching performers play. It is drawing and painting. It is writing. Now, if you would like a 10-page copy of this document by Thane called Future Shock, please email me, heather@drawingtogether.com, and I will send you a copy. Now let's look at another painting. And this painting, I kind of explained in my monthly newsletter that I send out. And if you want to get this newsletter, if you don't already, please let me know. Send to my email that you would like to get my newsletter. And I explained about this painting in there. Here is a bundle of sticks. What's the big deal? It's a bundle of sticks. Look. When I was living in Malibu on Point Dume, I had a very wonderful opportunity to live in a very wonderful neighborhood at a very special place, looking out over the ocean, my living room window. I would watch hundreds of dolphins in big, what would you call it? They're not teams. This was a herd of dolphins, and they were swimming fast and diving and doing what things that dolphins do, and I could just watch that from my window, my studio window. And I think that that time I paid only $25 a month for the rent. And that is like unbelievable. And it was a gift. It was a gift to me. I felt it was a gift for the work that I've done on myself in the Prosperos for about 10 years or so. I don't know. That's how I kind of look at life. We have gifts and we have problems, and we got to learn from all of them. So the story briefly of this painting. So I was walking out of my studio, walking up the driveway, getting to the road, and right by the road was this bundle of sticks. And it was a big bundle. It was heavy to carry them. But I thought, oh, this is the angel trumpet vine. Somebody cut it. Oh, okay. So I guess it's time for that to be trimmed. And then I remembered, because years earlier, I had attended a class at the Chicago Art Institute. And I remember seeing a sign on the back door to this school. And it said, you each must gather your own sticks and make your own fire so that your creativity will burn brightly. Gather your own sticks and put them into your fire so that your creativity will burn brightly. And I thought, well, let me gather my sticks. I'll bring these sticks into my studio. And I laid them down on this little bench and put a sheet behind it because it was too much stuff going on behind it. So I hung the sheet down and I did this little painting to kind of honor the idea that, okay, what is this story about? It's about your own sticks. So we're going to talk about sticks a little bit here, okay? The sticks, this is an expression that's got a lot of different meanings. You know, when somebody says, oh, he lives out in the sticks, he's talking about the countryside, and it's pretty boring out there. There's nothing happening. It's just the countryside. Then there's the expression, stick to your guns. I guess stick to your opinion, whatever it is. And then sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can never hurt you. And then these expressions, sticks, have a lot of meanings for us. Stick your neck out. Try something new. Stick together. And then stick in the mud. He was a stick in the mud. He was sort of boring, you know, and not really interesting. So anyways, gather your own sticks. I am going to propose that you consider thinking of a problem in your life, and you're going to think of sticks to represent the problems. Whatever the problem is in your life. We've all got problems. I've got problems, this, that, the other thing. I have worked through some of the problems that I used to have, and I don't have those problems anymore. But it is kind of a constant that we get new ones. So, but here's the thing. We're going to focus on a problem and let the stick stand for some blockage, a stuck place, some kind of an issue, a problem. And instead of complaining, instead of blaming somebody else and griping about it, we're going to approach the stick, the problem, as a way for us to learn something about it, okay? And what is the fire? Well, I think we've kind of talked a little bit about the fire is already something that's in you. So it's your innate capacity to solve problems. So let's picture a stick. I don't know, think of something you might picture, a real stick. Just what? Just a stick. Okay, so we have chickens. Hey, and our chickens, for the first time, laid an egg today. Today is the first day that the chickens laid an egg. Yay! So there's a little job involved in having chickens, and they're wonderful creatures. We love them very much. But there's certain jobs you have to clean the chicken coop out. And so I use a long stick to one little area, it needs a very long stick to get in there and clean the chicken poop out of this one little tray area. So that's a stick that I think about. There's another stick that I think about. We have a wood burning stove. And I tell you what, you need little sticks to get that fire burning. If you just brought in huge, big pieces of lumber, it would be hard to start the fire. Is that right? If you started a fire, you know what I mean. You need these little sticks that get it going. So just let us think of the fire as our creative life purpose that we are here to express. We're all here. There's a purpose within us. So the work that the world needs to do, the creative work that the world today, we are standing at a time when I believe the report that came out that said we have 12 years to deal with climate change. Do you remember hearing that? We have 12 years to shift some of our patterns and beliefs and fabricated ways of being industrialized human beings, and the way we burn our car gasoline in their cars. The traffic is thick and heavy. We are used to doing things in a certain way, but climate change is here. And to prevent serious, horrific problems, we need to make some changes. So we need to call upon this core of our being to help us move forward. Okay, so now I think we're ready for a little drawing exercise. So get your pencil and your paper. Okay. All right. So here's this exercise. It's just simple exercise with a pencil and a piece of paper. I'm going to call it The Gift and the Problem is the name of this exercise. And there are so many problems that I could tell you about that I found the gift from. But I'll tell you about just one. I was let go from a job, and it was a job that meant a great deal to me. And I was let go for reasons I don't even know, even to this day. I don't know, but I've got ideas, possibilities of things that were going on. And when you're let go of a job, I don't know if it's ever happened to you, but it certainly is enormous. It's a big, huge downer, and it's huge. I did some work that I learned in the Prosperos called Releasing the Hidden Splendor. It's where you work with a memory and you do a lot of accusing and releasing. Accuse those who you feel did something bad to you, who were doing something wrong, who were messing up with you in some way. Accuse yourself of things you think you might have done wrong. And at some point in the accusations that you feel so strongly about, and you really feel those things, you're really letting your emotions come forward. At some point, you will see some sense of why this is happening to you and what you need to get out of it. What I got out of this job thing, I lost this job and I was let go. And what I got out of that was learning that my employer is life. And I would say this to all of you, it's a lesson to learn. Life is your employer. Life has brought you here, and you have skills and you have talents and you have abilities to give the world, and life wants to employ those things. So get it off of the idea that, okay, Mr. Brown over there employs you, or that that corporation over there is employing you and you are under it and you need to do whatever you need to do to get it to employ you. The whole lesson for me was, no, Life is my employer. Life wants me to succeed. Say that to yourself. Life wants you to succeed. We get stuff in our heads about that one over there doesn't like me, or that one over there is trying to do something, whatever. We get all this stuff. But anyway, that was the gift that I got. And that is a gift that's huge. It continues to be huge for me to recognize that. Life is my employer. Now, I want to talk about the non-dominant hand before I go any further, too. I want to thank Lucia Cappuccioni, who wrote the book, The Power of Your Other Hand. And I used some of her things in my drawing book, Drawing as a Sacred Activity. What I have found with drawing, I mean, you can draw and observe what you're looking at and draw. There's a lot of wonderful things, wonderful experiences in learning the skill of observation and drawing what you see. With your non-dominant hand, you're going to close your eyes to the world around you, and you're going to draw out the world within you. So the non-dominant hand is what is vitally important here. And what is the non-dominant hand? It's the other hand. It's the hand that did not go to school. This hand went to school. It's my right hand. I'm right-handed. I write my name. You write your name with whichever hand, doesn't matter. The hand you write your name with, sign your check, sign your name at the store, that's your dominant hand. It is the adult self as you know yourself. To get in touch with the interior part of you, the non-dominant hand is a big friend because it doesn't quite connect with things as you typically think of, but it's open. It's open to listening to your heart talk to you. Listen to a part of your body that's aching. Have a little dialogue and let this non-dominant hand express that part of you. Now we're going to do a little exercise. So I want you to stop whatever you're doing. Make sure you're sitting down and closing your eyes. And we're not going to go to sleep. And we're not going to rest, really. We're closing our eyes in order to understand. The answer is within us. So take a breath. And maybe take another breath. And now let's contemplate. Pick one problem in your life right now. Might be a health issue, might be financial, could be something to do with your home or your career. Maybe it's a lack of something. Doesn't matter. Any problem, just pick it. Pick one problem. And picturing this problem in your mind, I'm going to ask you to imagine that you could see this problem as a stick. It's an easy thing to draw a stick. There's no problem drawing a stick. Draw a nice big stick, make it straight, make it crooked, make it have a lot of angles, but this is a stick, and this is representing a problem. So draw a stick. And it's good to use your non-dominant hand and think about this problem as you draw this stick. This is, and I'm just drawing this stick. Now, with your dominant hand, your adult hand, write a word or a little phrase that names this problem. Now let's just for a moment kind of ask, maybe with your dominant hand, the adult you is going to write, what is this stick or problem teaching me? What is this stick or problem, whichever word you like, teaching me? What's the lesson I'm here to learn? Now, with your non-dominant hand, ask that heart of you, the deep part of you, to tell you the life lesson you are to learn from this problem. With your non-dominant hand, listening to that core of your being, asking it, what am I here to learn? Now write it out, what this core part of you tells you you are here to learn. I think it was Einstein who said that a problem and a solution are two different mindsets. And so when you want to move into the solution, you need to change your mind about something. So what is the new mindset for you? Now, are you willing to learn this lesson and accept the gift of this problem? The problem has a gift? Yes. Are you willing to be open to learn and then accept the gift of this problem? Now, the last step, I want you to, it's kind of an imagination. But you know how you place sticks on a fire so that the fire burns brightly? Place this stick, the problem, the gift, into the fire of your heart. And then close your eyes. Just picture yourself placing this stick, this problem, which has a gift, and placing it into the fire of your own heart, and feel the warm creative fire burning brightly and guiding you. We've got to practice this new mindset, and that's how we will move forward regarding this problem. So you might want to give your title, give a title or a name to this little drawing. And we've got time to play a little song. So what I have to do is I have to exit from this visual presentation, and I'm going to play a little song. And this song is called I Feel You Everywhere by Jan Phillips. I think it's a perfect song to just think about for a minute. As you're listening, look at your drawing, look around you, and think about the beingness that is in you now It's in every leaf, every tree, every bird. It's in every person. You do not need to buy this. You do not need to earn it. It is in everything. And as you listen to this song, I want you to begin to feel it everywhere. Now, I hope that the sound is not too loud. Let me see. Oh no, that's good. Can you hear it? You're just a little bit more. Just listen. I feel you in my heart. I feel you in my hands. I feel you in the stars. I feel you in the sand. I feel you everywhere. Inside every sound, there is no place here that you do not dwell. I feel you everywhere. I feel you in my eyes. I feel you in my feet. I feel you in the eyes of everyone I meet. I feel you everywhere. Inside every cell, there's no place here that you do not dwell. I feel you in the clouds. I feel you in the storm. I feel you in the cold. I feel you in the warm. There is nowhere I can go and not find you. I feel you all day long. I feel you late at night. I feel you in the dark. I feel you in the light. There is nowhere I can go and not find you. I feel you when I sing. I feel you when I cry. I feel you breathing me. I feel you when I sigh. I feel you everywhere. Inside every cell, there is no place here that you do not dwell. I feel you everywhere. I feel you in my words. I feel you in my love. I feel you all around. I feel you up above. I feel you everywhere. Inside every cell, there's no place here that you do not dwell. I feel you everywhere. I feel you in the glow. I feel you in the storm. I feel you in the cold. I feel you in the warm. There's nowhere I can go and not find you. I feel you all day long. I feel you late at night. I feel you in the dark. I feel you in the light. There is nowhere I can go and not find you. I feel you in my room. I feel you in my breath. I feel you in the east. I feel you in the west. I feel you everywhere. Inside every cell, there is no place here that you do not dwell. I feel you everywhere.
I feel you when I pray. I feel you everywhere. Inside every cell, there is no place here that you do not well. I feel you everywhere. I feel you in the clouds. I feel you in the storm. I feel you in the cold. I feel you in the warm. There's nowhere I can go and not find you. I feel you all day long. I feel you late at night. I feel you in the dark. I feel you in the light. There is nowhere I can go and not find you. There is nowhere I can go and not find you.
Oh, now. Okay, how about a story to finish this? Once upon a time, an old woman lived on a beautiful farm in the country. And from her window, she could see pasture land, fields of grain, all kinds of animals, orchards. The farm was special to the old woman because it had been in her family for many generations. She lived there her whole life, raised her children there. Now her husband was dead, and she too was in the last days of her life. The old woman should have been content with such a fortunate life, but as she lay on her bed, she worried about her grown children. They didn't seem to get along. She heard them quarreling. Some of them were good at farming, some were good at working with carpentry, some were good at cooking, preserving foods. They each had their job, but they seemed to regard the others as not being good enough. They weren't working hard enough. There was complaining. They were all nearly grown up now, but they held grudges against each other, and they were jealous of each other's good fortune. So she tried talking to them, saying how we need to work together, and yet they seemed to grow bitter more and more. So one day, as her strength was waning, she got an idea. She called all the kids to come. I have one last favor to ask of you. I'd like each of you to go out into the forest and find 2 sticks. Bring them here tomorrow. I'll explain. So the kids went out. I'm kind of picturing, they're 20, 25, something like that. And they came to her room the next day with 2 sticks each. Thank you, she said. Please put one of your sticks down. And now see if you can break the other one in half. And they all broke their sticks easily in half. Then the old woman asked them to pass to me all these other sticks. And so she began to bundle all the sticks into one big bundle. And then she handed the bundle to the kids and said, please pass this bundle of sticks around amongst you and tell me, is it as easy to break the bundle as it is to break the single stick? And they passed the bundle around and none of them could break the bundle. So you, my children, are like these sticks. If you go your separate ways, quarreling and holding resentments toward one another, you will each be alone like the individual stick is alone. The difficulties of life will easily hurt you. But if you work together, appreciate each other's strengths, cherish what you share in common, care for each other, you will be strong like the bundle of sticks is strong, and nothing in life can break you. Find strength and joy in one another's company, and you will live well and accomplish much. The old woman died peacefully, and the farm remained in the family for many years. The message is union gives strength. So I think about all of us human beings learning how to work together. Our true identity is beingness. And as we come to know our true identity, we recognize our oneness with others, with dogs and cats and trees and bumblebees. We're all in this life together. We need to practice tools to clear away the gobs of junk, old beliefs, old patterns, cultural conditioning, all this stuff that's blocking our beingness. The Prospero School of Ontology is dedicated to the idea that self-improvement can be fun, and it doesn't have to empty your wallet. The instruction involves serious learning, exalted states of awareness. You will practice easy-to-use techniques. There will be laughter, even some satire, and always a rich experience in a relaxed atmosphere. I will be teaching all the Prospero's classes. I will monitor some by Thane. I will do my own. Now, if you would like to explore a little more, I have free drawing exercises on my website. Contact me by email if you want that Future Shock article by Thane. You can explore things on the Prosperos website, listen to Thane Talks for free on the prosperos.org. This is the Zoom link for our Sunday meetings, and the next Prosperos Zoom Sunday meeting will be Calvin Harris. That will be on January 20th, and it will be just like this one, starting at 11 o'clock. My next Zoom Sunday meeting will be February 10th. So now, I'd like to end with a poem. This is by Prospero student Mike Powell. There's a soft breeze all around me. It is invisible. The hum of the fan nearby is invisible too. My thoughts drifting about cause me some anxiety, and they are invisible. It's hard to see invisible, but I know it's there. I sense it easily. I love the invisible world. The silence is invisible too, yet fills the air like a sea of information and stimulation. Intuition, that's silent, but it speaks its voice to me. Feelings are invisible, yet they move my heart, my mind, my spirit. What is this energy without form? It occupies no space. Maybe it's just consciousness. Thank you all very, very much for attending. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Calvin. Thank you, Hugh John. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Ben and Domenica. And thank you, guys.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
Thanks, Heather.
You bet.
Yeah.
Thank you, Heather.
Okay. Have a wonderful day. And Boulant. Hello, Boulant.
Hi, Heather.
I
Thank
haven't
you.
talked to you, Boulant, for so long. How are you?
Yes, it is a long time. I cannot get in touch with your meetings, and because of that, I feel a bit stressed.